Linda Sarsour is a leader on the rise. She is director of the Arab American Association of New York and leader, board member, and more to many other organizations. A Palestinian Muslim American and a self-proclaimed pure New Yorker born and raised in Brooklyn, she has been featured in local, national, and international media, speaking on topics ranging from women's issues, Islam, domestic policy, and political discussions on Middle Eastern conflicts. She received a Brooklyn Do-Gooder honor earlier this year, and we're here at her Brooklyn offices to learn more about how she's become the outspoken, don't take no mess leader she is today. So welcome to the show, Linda. Thanks so much for letting us come to your space.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I wanted to first know, just when did you realize this was your calling to be a vocal leader for the Muslim community?
I realized it was 2 months after September 11th. I was asked to come volunteer here at the Arab American Association of New York, which was just started. And that's where I found my calling. That's where I saw the community and what they were facing, and found my place.
I saw you do a performance with the hijab monologues, and you stood up and you expressed your frustration with every day that you walk out the door you feel like you become the representation for a billion-person worldwide religion. What is it like carrying that weight? What else do you have to say about what that means?
I mean, especially in this kind of political environment that we live in, every time I walk out, I always have to think about like how I'm going to respond, how I'm going to react to certain situations, because I know that people are like, let's see what those people are, let's see what they're going to do. So I feel like everything I do is not based on my individuality, it's based on who I represent. So it's hard to kind of keep that always in the back of your mind, that if someone's getting, you know, kind of stupid with you at a place and you want to kind of respond back to them, I always have to think about how I'm going to do that. So, you know, so they're like, see, these angry Muslims, those, see, I told you, those angry Arabs. I feel like that's the kind of response people are looking for.
And I know that you also have some political goals that you're keeping your eyes on for the future, and one of your visions is also to have just a very active Muslim American political force that's, you know, holding office at every level of government in the U.S. Why politics? Why do you think that's going to be an important route to take?
I think watching how politics is unfolding right now in our country, and just watching the GOP, and the first time in a very long time watching how much friction there is between our president and Congress, I feel like if there were more people that looked like us there, I think that the priorities would be different. And I think that we're not being represented the way we want to. And I'm not going in to represent Muslims, I'm going to represent people of color, working families, people that are just like me.
Underrepresented voices.
Absolutely. And I think right now we're not being represented there. I mean, majority of Congress is old white men, and I'm sorry, their priorities are not ours, and I think that's why our country's going downhill right now.
And what advice would you have for somebody who's, you know, feeling called to be active but maybe still feeling a little shy about putting their voice out there? Because it's a big risk. Like, you're putting yourself out there, it's a public platform, even if it's just maybe writing a blog about something, you know, important, or sharing part of themselves. What advice would you have for somebody in developing their voice?
I feel like if everybody was shy, or if everybody was holding back, then we would never move forward in this country. And sometimes it has to be you. And then sometimes when it's you, then you get other people around you that are like, okay, he did it, she did it, I'm gonna do it. And I feel like it is taking a risk, but it's worth the risk. I mean, it's been worth every moment that I have spent outside of my home, traveling and talking to people and being on Capitol Hill. It's worth it, because my voice is being heard, and I feel heard, and sometimes I don't feel heard. But I feel like it's a risk that is so worth taking, not for just you, but for your community and for your family and for your children in the future. Like, what kind of world do we want for our children?
And I know that you don't tend to mince words sometimes in some clips that I've seen with stuff. Is there anything that you've said that you ever regret, or kind of look back and be like, maybe I shouldn't have gone that far, or maybe I went too far? Have you ever had those moments?
I absolutely had one of those moments. I had a moment on Tyra Banks' show where it was a show about race and names, and although the people were quite ignorant, and I was so angry inside of me. And it was a couple of years back before I did this more often than I do now, and I just, you know, was on national television, and I went for my gut, and I just gave it the Brooklyn thing that I had. I gave it the Palestinian thing that I have. It was not, I didn't filter myself. I mean, I could have said things differently. But one part of me says that's the real me. I mean, that's just who I am. And I think it was because it was about my child. The show was about young children. I feel like that's what any mother would do. So while I do regret it, I feel like that's just me, and that's who I am.
hope others will be inspired by the leadership that Linda has to offer, and we'll be looking out for you, political office in the future, and doing many big things with the Arab American Association of New York here in Brooklyn. So if you didn't know about Linda Sarsour and her fierce activism, now you know.